Hi and welcome to txTNationTV. It is episode number 59, and we've got everything to do with Mobile World Congress and some stuff just beforehand.
Yep. Phones.
Couple tablets.
Yeah. And more phones.
That's right, Mobile World Congress is going on in Barcelona, Spain right this minute as we speak. It is still going on, but as of Sunday morning at about 3 a.m. our time, it kind of got started. And
this is when the message board started blowing up.
Exactly. So before I get too much started into Mobile World Congress, I do want to talk about beforehand a couple things that were announced after the invasion of the rock that fell from space and became a meteorite and crashed into Russia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was that.
Yeah, there was that. But shortly afterwards, HTC came out with their new flagship phone, as it were, the HTC One.
That wasn't a meteorite. It was just HTC.
Bringing in the new phone.
Yeah, just showing the world, you know.
Talk about an entrance.
Yeah, it's time to step up because we're here.
So we've got the brand new HTC One, not the One X, not the One X Plus, but it's basically, to be honest with you, I'm going to have to go out and buy one of these because for the first time ever, a smartphone has brought the speakers to the front. So that when you're watching a video, yourself, friends, whatever, they've got the left and right speakers facing you, so you don't have to, you know.
It's always been, hey, check out this video I found, Rusty, and you need a puppet so you could hear it.
Exactly.
We all know this. There's even been Kickstarter projects sold.
Yeah, where people have a flip.
Yeah, it's got a cup.
Yeah, exactly. So HTC.
No more of that.
Good for you. The Taiwanese-based company has been struggling as of last year. They were having troubles with sales, and I don't see why. They put out really good phones. I mean, you're looking at the Droid DNA, which they just released on Verizon, which has a 440 pixel per inch screen, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It's above the iPhone 5 even. It looks wonderful. It looks, some people say it looks like a painting on a phone. The pixel density is what makes a phone at this point because we're all, you know, quad cores, we're all 1080p at this point, you know, for the newest, latest, and greatest.
Megapixels are just a thing of the past.
Exactly. So it's how many pixels can I get in there? How can I make it look better? How can I make it look more real? You know, the quality of the screen. So we're looking at the HTC One being a unibody style, and I don't know if I can say unibody because I think Apple may have a patent on that.
Well, they can sue us.
But HTC's following along the lines of taking one piece of metal, cutting it down to the shape that they need, and then shoving everything on the inside. So I think that's great. There's no gaps, as they call it, a gapless body.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's, you know, built straight in. The glass, you know, fits right over the top of the phone. All the insides are covered by one big pocket of metal. So I think it's going to be a great phone, and I'm thinking it's going to be a great phone to put into a case because it's all metal and will get scratched up very easily, much like the iPhone 5.
But it's like the iPhone. It's just it's too good looking to put in a case.
I don't know.
You kind of want to create some sort of skin, some exoskeleton that still shows off.
You know, like the iPad 1 that I purchased last year and got stolen, that had that, I can't remember the name of the product, but the Zag clear plastic thing was on it, kind of like that.
It's just another skin so that you could sit down.
But that's maybe what it is. But HTC is kind of worried about their future, and so I think this is kind of a last swing at the fence, and let's see if we can nail this one. So I think they did a really good job. It's going to be your standard $199 for 32 gig, $299 for 64 gig, obviously on contract. It'll be available here across the board. AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. They didn't mention anything about Verizon. I could be wrong about that, but pretty much across the board, you're gonna be able to, you know, get on your LTE for AT&T and Sprint in various locations. Obviously, with both of those companies, LTE is not across the board. T-Mobile does not have LTE anywhere that I know of yet. They could be testing.
How about the IR blaster?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about something that's been around since the 80s. So
it's a remote technology, infrared technology.
So what they've done is at the very top, opposite the headphone jack at the top, they have put an IR blaster to be able to control TVs and certain things that will be able to receive this. So I'm assuming some of your Samsung, your Panasonic, whatever, you'll be able to control with an app your TV with the freaking IR blaster, and you don't have to have anything in between. I don't think. There might have to be something like a pair device that goes in between, or a peel device, I'm sorry, that goes in between. I don't know, I'm not sure. But, you know, IR at the top of your phone, awesome. I just think it's great.
How long did it took too long to get that to me.
You have an IR blaster, isn't that right, for your iPhone 4?
I have a dongle. I can still control the TV, but you have to physically put something in there. It should be in the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, our Nokia phones even had an infrared on some of them, you know?
And I never even knew what the use of that was
Why?
for. Yeah, I don't think anybody ever used it.
I think it was like on a regular Nintendo, there was that thing you could take off. You always, what is that for? Is it to connect something new to? Did they have something else in mind? Or?
Yeah, it's just something that didn't sell that well for the N64, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about NES.
Which NES we talking about?
1984.
What thing on the top? There was just
no bottom. There's a thing on the bottom. You could take it off, and I forgot what was underneath that clip. It may have been just to clean it.
Okay,
but it's like you're thinking that's there for expansion. There's
for something, yeah.
CD-ROM at the time was new. Like, maybe just put the CD in. And,
I thought you were talking about the N64 with the double-decker thing that sold in Japan really well, but never made it to the States.
No, not that. No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
It's about time.
Yeah, IR blaster on the new HTC One phone. So I think that's going to be great. It's going to have a 2300 milliamp battery, which is better than my Samsung Galaxy S4, which is running a 2100 milliamp battery. It's a 4.7-inch screen. It's 1920 by 1080. My Galaxy S3 is only 720, 1280 by 720. 468 pixels per inch, if I didn't say it already. Which also beats out the Droid DNA and the iPhone 5 for pixels per inch. So that's going to be completely awesome. The only thing that I thought was odd was the 4-megapixel camera on the back, but they're not saying that that's bad. They're using the word ultra-pixel to say that it's so much the software and how they're processing the photo, basically the sensors that are behind the actual lens, that makes it a better photo. And some initial pre-tests before they get into the official reviews of all these phones have shown that in low lighting areas, this phone seems to be doing better than the iPhone 5 or the Droid DNA or some of these other phones that are out there. I haven't seen it against the Nokia Lumia 920, which I think right now is honestly one of the best cameras because of the PureView technology that comes with that phone.
So it's the technology of what they're using, the technology to take the photos, what's giving you the quality, not just the number of pixels and megapixels you have. It's what's running that.
Yeah, so we may be staving off right now at an 8 megapixel. Some of these new phones are going to be coming out in Mobile World Congress, going to be 13 megapixel. I think we're going to kind of stay in that range for a little while until we can figure out kind of like what HTC's doing and see, you know, it's the technology behind it, not so much the megapixels like you said. So we look forward to, I honestly think I will get this HTC One. I think it's going to be a great phone, and seriously, every phone after this that does not have speakers in the front, I'm going to look at it and go, that's crap. It doesn't have speakers facing you. So
even your precious Samsung S3?
Even my precious Samsung Galaxy S3, because even when the Galaxy S4 comes out, which I have to laugh about this. Side note, this isn't on our notes for the show, but Galaxy S4 will not be using the Exynos Octa chip that we saw at CES for their Galaxy S4, apparently. It looks like they're going to be using the Snapdragon 600, it looks like. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, Exynos is theirs. Yeah, it's theirs.
What was the car that we saw it in? The car that they drove up on stage and said, this is driven by the Samsung...
the Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, it was that Rolls-Royce. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And so the story I read was because of overheating issues, it looks like that's the reason why they're going to have to Exnay on their own Exynos. Exynos, I think is how it's
Exit on the Exynos.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, and because we've got to talk about Samsung, because obviously the S4 is not coming out anytime in the next week or so, I would say. It will come out. It'll be later. Much like everybody's been saying, they're going to have their own, you know, special announcement, their own day, basically, in the sun. It started out Mobile World Congress at about 3 a.m. our time here in the United States for Mobile World Congress to get started Sunday morning, and it has just been blown up ever since. But the first thing that we actually saw Friday in pictures but didn't know anything about was the Samsung Galaxy Note 8.
Yeah, we just saw the it had a photo, you know, and you could tell that it wasn't a Note 2, it wasn't a 10, because it was actually in someone's hand. And
it was in that portrait mode instead of landscape, so we knew what was coming. And basically, it's a 1280 by 800 8-inch tablet. It's just above your 7-inchers, like your Nexus 7 and your Kindle Fires, and insert any other Android-based.
So it's a big phablet.
Yes, exactly. You got a 5.3 by 8.3 inch screen. If you already have a Galaxy S3, a Galaxy Note 2, or even a Galaxy Note 10, you already know what's happening with this phone. It's got all the, you know, bells and whistles that Samsung has. TouchWiz, the split screen for the Note on the tablet side, you know, being able to run 2 apps at once. The S Pen. I think what they added for the S Pen this time, was the hover, to be able to hover over something and to be able to, you know, be able to select something while you're hovering without actually having to touch it. So that was kind of cool. Another IR blaster device for some reason. I don't know, you know, if this is going to be the hot button topic now, is IR blasters, being able to control your TV.
Well, I wouldn't mind that with that device. Because you can set it on your coffee table. It's, you know, bigger than your phone, and you don't have to, you don't have to mess with your phone. You know, kind of like how I hope the NFCs go to the watch instead of the phone. So you know, you can leave your phone alone and have something like this. You can just have it on the table.
Yeah.
You got your IR blaster set up, and you know you can control your home just from there. And also,
plus, go ahead.
Make a telephone call.
Well, before we get into telephone, I just thought about this while you were saying that. It's about the size of a bigger TV Guide, you know, and we already have TV Guide apps as it is. So you've got your TV Guide, and you're like, hey, I want to watch this, and then boom, it changes stationary TV. Yeah. But yes, this tablet apparently makes phone calls. That is ridiculous. Yeah. Hold your iPad up to your head. Yeah, that's kind of what it's going to look like.
Do I look more important?
That's kind of what it looks like.
That guy's got something going on. He's, you know, look how big his phone is.
It's going to have a 4,600 milliamp battery in it, so you can make all the phone calls that you want to with this thing. They do have a Wi-Fi only version if you'd like. But no pricing was announced, and we won't know until the second quarter of this year because Samsung is still, you know, I'm assuming working out their deals with the different carriers for the phone end version of it. So I'm sure it'll be running Jelly Bean 4.1, which is kind of odd. Why wouldn't it be running 4.2? Yeah. I guess with Google I/O coming up around the corner, you know, they're going to be announcing Google 5. I can't even think HIJK. I don't need Keyline Pi.
That's what Galaxy 4 will be running.
Exactly. So, do I want one right off the bat? No. I don't know. You know, like I said, now that I've seen this HTC One and the metal body and the iPhone 5 with the metal body, I'm kind of want to get away from plastic. You know, I love my Galaxy S3, but the plastic back and the plasticky phone.
On a business standpoint, plastic is cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, you know, volume.
Yeah, knock it out. Exactly. So, I mean, that's, you know, neither here or there, but, you know, I'm not going to get one, I don't think, because I saw a friend of mine playing with the Nexus 7. Mm-hmm. I kind of want a Nexus 7 now. It's a really great tablet. It's 7 inches, portrait style, same thing, being able to control a lot of things. So, cool. I want to see that. So, what else is coming out of Mobile World Congress that you liked?
Well, what I liked but didn't like the product that it was on, it was the Firefox phone.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So,
well, I've been using Firefox OS since day one, you know?
Exactly. Did you catch it on screensavers when Kevin and Alex made a
It was
page?
Kevin Rose is how I found out about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you've used Internet Explorer or even Safari, Safari was a little better than Internet Explorer. It's garbage compared to Firefox. Now that you got the Ad Blocker Plus.
Yeah.
I use nothing else.
Yeah, there's no reason to stray away because Facebook looks so much better without all the ads.
Yeah.
I don't mean Pirate Bay. The other websites look great without ads. It's just a better experience to be able to do that, you know.
Oh, to our buddy at Mega Upload, we're fighting for you. That is freaking ridiculous. 50 years. That's another episode.
Yeah, that's a politics issue. Maybe we need to start a show about politics of internet and politics of, you know.
Yeah. It's garbage. What it is.
Yeah. So.
But to go back, no, it's the Alcatel.
Alcatel. There
the Alcatel One Touch Fire phone.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You remember the iPhone 1?
Yeah.
Remember how big and clunky that thing was? Of course, at the time, it was the most awesome thing ever, but looking back...
Yeah, it was running edge.
Well, these phones aren't running Edge. They're running 3G.
Yeah.
They're in some markets they'll be running HSPA plus, which is 4G per se.
The one we saw, it looks like it was running the software that Palm was running when it first got stepped out of the.
Well, you're right. This is the first
Palm Pilot age into a Palm phone. They had that the back and forth screens and. Compared to what we have now, it just doesn't compare at all. I mean,
let's be clear about this.
It's probably a good phone to make phone calls.
Yeah, it's a Firefox OS that's running this phone. So it's Firefox's first delve into the smartphone market, which is already heavily covered, obviously, by iPhone and Android, and as well as Windows Phone starts making its ramp up as well.
We can't trash them because we know how good their browser is. We know what they're capable of. This is just let's put our toe in the water and see what happens.
Yeah, and the fact that it's not going to be a worldwide phone across the board. It's not going to be coming to the U.S. Yeah. It's only going to be in China, Latin America, and spaces in Europe. So it's not going to be one of those crazy phones everybody goes out and buys. It's not going to be the Ubuntu phone per se. I mean, the Ubuntu phone looks great too. It looks kind of like the Nexus device. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely, like you said, the toe in the water.
It's running Android 4 too.
Is it? Really? Seriously? Wow, that is ridiculous.
It's beating the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, or the Samsung Galaxy 8.
Another one, if you want to check it out, look this one up. It is the ZTE Open. It's another 3.5-inch phone that's going to be holding the Firefox OS. So check these two phones out. It's going to be, later this year if you live in those countries. So.
I expect them to start bringing out more something better.
Speaking of phones that could be better, the Huawei phone, the new Ascend P2. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you see me there showing off the Ascend Mate from back in CES, which is a great phone, by the way.
The Huawei's a good-looking phone. Had no problems with it. The keyboard was kind of the pad was kind of funky because it didn't have ABC. It had one and ABC two.
It was weird.
It was like old school.
T9 typing.
Yeah, you had to keep hitting the numbers to get the letters.
The new Ascend P2's got a 1280 by 720 screen, 3-megapixel camera facing away from you. I think like a 1.2 facing towards you for FaceTime. It's running Android 4.2 as well. It's not a 1080p phone. It's that's the thing. The buzzword this year is 1080p. So it's quad core phones. It's 1080p phones. This is not that phone.
No IR blaster. I mean,
Exactly. So that's pretty much is it for phones. But one last thing that we did want to hit before we get out of here is the HTC Slate 7, which apparently we've seen in commercials beforehand, but we didn't know what it was. But it's the HTC Slate 7. And again, nothing big about this tablet, just like any other tablet, but the price. $169.99. That's what's going to be crazy about it because
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, $199 is pretty much our price point for those 7-inch tablets. This gets you into an ARM A9 processor with Beats Audio. Beats Audio I could throw away here or there, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But let's get away from the Slate. And one last story. I want to show you a picture of this. Take a look right here. Yeah, you see that Google Pixel looking thing right there? Yeah, that is exactly what it is. The Google Pixel. It's not the Pixie from the Palm days.
No, Pixie just didn't work out.
Yeah, but it's their latest and greatest, and it's no longer $199 or $299 like the previous Chromebooks.
Yeah, the Chromebooks. Yeah, they really just went from here to over here somewhere.
Yeah, so it's almost like buying the full unlocked version of an iPhone 5 for $700 instead of $200 on contract. Is basically what happened here. And what's funny about it is it's $1,299. For the Wi-Fi only version, 32 gigabyte, which is another question we'll talk about here in a second. But it's running the Intel Core i5 processor, dual core, 1.8 gigahertz, strong enough to do anything. 2560 by 1700, which running a 239 pixels per inch on a laptop, which looks great. It's not of the same quality as a Retina display as we have been hammered our heads into by Apple that everybody's got to look like a Retina display, but it still looks great from what I'm told. We have not been able to see one in our hands to tell you what it looks like, but from what we've read, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, we've seen a 4K tablet.
There's nothing that looks better than a 4K tablet, so... But it's got 4 gigs of RAM to start out with. It's got the same basic keyboard as a MacBook Pro. It looks Mac Pro stylish as far as the
before the
body.
unibody style, it's a square, more of a square style.
Yeah, on the back it's got a piano hinge for the actual back where it folds in and closes up. It looks absolutely great. Do I like the price? No, because you're not getting a full-on laptop per se, and I've been using that a lot this episode, but this is what I'm going to ask about. They've got a 32 gig version for $12.99. They've got a 64 gig version with LTE for $14.49.
Yeah.
The LTE I get, they're adding in the chipset and being able to access, Verizon, whoever you use for your LTE provider service. The thing I don't get is the 64 gig and the 32 gig. A Chromebook is an internet-based product.
Mm-hmm.
You're using the web, you're using Gmail, you're using Chrome. It comes with 1 terabyte of Google Drive service so that you can store your Google documents and or other things on Google Drive, which is web-based.
If you fill up a terabyte
in documents.
Yeah, that quickly.
Yeah, so I'm kind of questioning what's the 32 and 64 bit. I saw this earlier on Geek Beat last week with John Pose.
I think it's just for people to see. You think, back in the day, we wanted to buy an iPod.
Yeah.
We wanted the 120 gig.
Exactly.
It's just a number to throw out there to confuse consumers who aren't
tech savvy, educated, or however,
you think, well, 64 must be better than 32, so they're only asking what, $150, $200 more. I might as well get the 64.
And I don't get that unless they're using the 64 gigs for some sort of local cache, I assume. For like screenshots, if you want to take screenshots.
Maybe. Or
pictures that stay localized. Maybe Google Hangout is using a lot of storage. I don't know. I don't know all the background of it. So Google, if you could tell us what the storage is.
If anyone has one that plays with it, send us a respond video to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather spend $11.99 and get a MacBook Air.
Yeah.
No, a comparison to.
Yeah. Yeah, you are getting
a full-on product.
Yeah, you are getting a full-on operating system.
The comparison on TechnoCrunch here, they got a Surface Pro. Which I would not put it. I guess just have a Microsoft product in there.
Well, it's because Apple MacBook Air and a Surface Pro are full-on operating systems in a smaller form factor.
So that's what they're going for.
I guess.
Okay.
The Surface Pro is a tablet, which is odd to put it up against a Chromebook, and the MacBook Air, which are laptops, or full-on laptops. But the Pro does come with that keyboard so that you have a laptop, per se. Okay. So I guess that's what they're looking at. But
fair enough. Also, the Pixel's heavier.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something.
Maybe they just want some money. Maybe that's why their stock is over 600.
Which, speaking of, by the way, Google is looking to, have actual stores coming out soon. They already have mini stores inside of the Best Buy stores in certain areas. I think Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, your normal places. They already have mini stores. They already have a Google Kansas City, Kansas fiber store. If you live in Kansas City, you know what I'm talking about. CNET's been there, done some reviews, and shown you the fiber. They've got fiber there in Kansas.
They secretly bought that town, haven't they?
I know it, and I really wish Google, please come to Nashville and buy our town. And Mr. Oni, please spread out the fiber love here in Nashville. That's all that we ask. But anyway, that was a lot to cover for the first 24 hours of Mobile World Congress. As you're seeing this video, obviously a lot more has happened and a lot more announcements. We will have more as it comes to you. We will probably have a wrap-up episode next week just to kind of cover everything that has happened for Mobile World Congress.
But also, we're going to keep you up to date with the news. Follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/txTNationTV.
And remember, if you don't want all that news, remember our text tip on how to remove that. But if you do want to follow us online, twitter.com/txTNationTV. That'll also be the latest and greatest as we post everything there.
Check out all of our videos, youtube.com/txTNationTV.
For those of you in the Google Plus side of things, because I am in there daily, I'm trying to drag him in there. He's getting in there a little bit off and on, but
I put my toe in the water.
Yeah, Google Plus, gplus.to/txTNationTV.
Also, if you want to hit us up personally, I'm at TextAlan. He's at RustyG.
If you want to do our emails, if you want to do that because you don't like Twitter and you're not on Twitter, Rusty at txtNation.tv, Alan at txtNation.tv.
And everything txtNation.tv. It's up. Apparently it was messed up for a second. We missed
fixed it.
But now
We fixed it.
Cover flow is
Back in
can we
order.
say cover flow?
It,
The flow of cover is back up and running.
we'll see how it goes. We'll see you again for episode number 60. Hopefully we'll have a wrap-up of everything Mobile World Congress. Thank you again for all of those you who are commenting, and please leave more comments so we know how to make this show better for you. We want more subscribers.
Yeah, keep us accountable.
Exactly. If you think that we're doing something that's odd, tell us. If you don't like it, tell us. Somebody just leave comments, let us know so we can make it better for you. And hopefully in the future, actually not hopefully in the future, we do have an interview with a Miss Jessica Corbin coming up for you. So stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for your text minute, text all those other things that we've been doing here lately as well. We'll see you again for episode number 60. See you again next time.
See you guys.